are live here for the OnePride podcast, talk all things Detroit Lions news and rumors, and we're going to get into it for today's show. Obviously, we're going to do QA. Why? Because we love talking to the folks. That's what it's all about. Try to get one live stream in a week. We're getting close to the NFL draft. That is exciting, very exciting, about 3 weeks away, and we get to see the new players that's coming to Detroit. We get to see the new faces that's going to be wearing the Honolulu blue and silver. The most important, besides a regular season, the NFL draft is the most important thing for the Detroit Lions. It's acquiring the talent. You get great talent, you win football games. Sam Laporta's, the Brian Branches of the world, continue on. That's how you build your team. We're getting really close to that. But before we get into the NFL draft, let's get into some news that occurred. And we have some number swaps. I think this one is interesting here because Jahmyr Gibbs went from 26 to 0. So his new number is going to be 0. I know a lot of people were upset, at least in the feed that I have, that they switched the numbers because that means they got to get new jerseys. I was hearing about it. And the folks in the feed took my advice and said, well, we'll just get a Lions jersey with your name on there. So, because they're upset with the number changes. But anyways, you got Jahmyr Gibbs, who's going from 26 to 0. That's an odd number for a running back, but hey, that's what he wanted. J-Mo is going from 9 to 1. I think that's probably a better number for Jameson Williams, number 9, obviously the former quarterback, Matthew Stafford. Those are the two big changes. And obviously, Terrion Arnold goes from 0 to 6. So Sub-Zero is no more Sub-Zero unless you're talking about Jahmyr Gibbs, but he's already Sonic. So what do you guys think about the number changes? So you guys don't care? I personally, I really don't care. If I want to get a jersey, I'll just get a new jersey. It's not that big of a deal to me to have a number changes. They did everything that they wanted to do. Lisa, Taylor, Alexis, Janella, Mofo, Jimbo, Brent, James, Janella, Lisa, DeLorenzo, Jack, The Darn, Taylor, Alexis, Janella, Devin Davis, everybody. Appreciate you coming in the building. The Darn, appreciate you as well. My guy, he knows about the feed. We're in the feed right there. And that's what, is going on. Let's talk about this. Now, a video dropped, or not a video, a article dropped yesterday talking about, again, Trey Hendrickson trade. I do not believe we're going to be trading for Trey Hendrickson. I believe Brad Holmes when he says, we're not doing that because we don't got the money for it. A lot of people want the trade. I said I don't think it's going to happen, and I don't believe it's going to happen. I truly don't believe it's going to happen. So I'm not going to blow smoke to tell you that. Finally caught a live after weeks. Yeah, I got to keep it a buck. I needed to switch things up a little bit for schedule. If you do the exact same schedule constantly, it really dulls things up. And I got to switch it up a little bit because doing the same thing over and over again can get boring. I'm drinking Mountain Dew right there. Yeah, he says the feed can be wild sometimes. Yeah, 100% it can be. A lot of people are not going to like who they there is a player, and I do think they really do potentially go offensive line with 28. And Booker from Alabama is a target. I think there's two. If you want to go offensive line at 20, I'm not saying you do or don't, but if you're one of those folks, I think there's two players you're going to look at: Zabel and as Booker, at least for the offensive line. That's kind of what I identified as who I think the Lions would target if they wanted to go in that direction for the offensive linemen. So those are the two I think identify that could be a target. Or defensive end, edge. I can throw out 100 edges names out there. It's pointless. We don't know who's going to be there. I mean, and I think that edge is going to go quick in the draft. I do think it's going to go quick, and maybe the Lions want to get an edge and they trade up. I don't know, or one falls to them. That's the most difficult part about the draft. Don't know what other teams are going to do. I know the Lions, we all know kind of what the Lions are going to do, or what you feel they're going to do, but you don't know what the other teams are going to do, and that puts it in a difficult position. I've done 3 mock drafts already. I'm going to do one more mock draft, and that will probably be in a couple weeks, maybe a week before the NFL draft itself. That'll be my final mock draft, what I think the Lions are going to do. Again, those are the two players if you're thinking offensive line. There could be 6 players or 5 players you think a defensive end because of trade up or down. Like, they legitimately could do both, and we really don't know what they're going to do. One thing I do like about Brad Holmes in regards to the offseason and rumors and draft rumors, most importantly, anyone that tells you that you know what they're going to do is full of it. Nobody knows what Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell's going to do. Besides Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. They will target their Lions players, and they'll trade up, they'll trade down. If they could trade sideways, they would do it. That's what we got going on there. And I do think that I think it is probable, more likely they do a trade. I don't know what way, though. What do you guys, do you think they sit at 28? Do you think that they sit at that spot and pick at 28? Y for yes and for no. I'm going to go with, even though my final mock draft, I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm not going to do a trade because it's really difficult. So I'm just going to keep it with the 28th pick. But I do believe that the Lions more likely will trade. Don't know what way, though, because Brad Holmes identifies players. He has different grades on those players than other general managers. If he feels that a player is a second-round grade, he's not going to draft him with the 28th pick, so he'll trade back. If he feels that a player is falling and is a valuable, he'll trade up. And Jay says no. JD says no. So they both believe that we're not sitting at 28. And I will go with that too. I think that's probably most likely the case in that scenario. I forgot his name, Mike, but someone had a mock of top analysts trading 3 first and Gibbs. I love it when these BS mocks theories comes out. I haven't seen that, but that is the most ridiculous mock draft. And I'm going to tell you right now, they're not trading away Jahmyr Gibbs. They're not going to trade Jamison Williams. Okay? They're not trading. I seen an article of Alex Anzalone. I seen a trade with Taylor Decker. Folks, they're not getting traded. Not happening. These players are going to stay on this team. They're not getting traded. Taylor Decker is going to be your left tackle. Okay? Alex Anzalone is going to be your linebacker. That's not happening. I don't see, if there is a player or two that potentially could get traded out of the roster that I'm looking at, Hendon Hooker would probably be one of those guys, and maybe a Broderick Martin, right? That's really it. And we're talking about, those are backups, so we're not going to trade a starter. It's just not happening. Our best acquisitions will be in the draft. Yeah, and we talk about the draft. It's all about the draft, in my opinion. It's all about the draft. You know, they're banking. They didn't go hard in free agency because they want to save the money for their players that are coming up. They want to save that, right? There is a lot of money, you know, to Sam Laporta's, the Brian Branches, to all that stuff. We got here some James Jealous. On paper, we're still the best team in football. James, I wouldn't say we're the best team in football right now from at this point from a roster standpoint because we did lose Kevin Zeitler. I'm not saying that we're not after the draft, right? We don't know. I do think that probably bolstered the offensive line, but that was a net negative. Losing Zeitler did hurt the offense. Also, we lost our coordinators, both of them. So I think that we got to – I'm going to have a little bit more real expectations for this team. I think they're great. And I got to say, I know a lot of people – I love Ben Johnson, but I'm really excited for John Morton to run on 3rd and 1 or run on 4th and 1. That's what I'm excited for. I love Ben Johnson, and I love this play calling. I did. But there was times in there he outsmarted himself. And John Morton – is more of the run first, especially on the short yardage. And when you got Montgomery and you got Gibbs, sometimes you just don't outthink it. Just run the football. So that is something I'm excited to. So maybe that does do a net benefit. We'll see if we actually go on 4th down more or if it's the same. That's something we don't know. I think that it will probably be the same, just different plays. Do you think we bring Za'Darius back? Man, I want to say yes. I would like for him to come back. Za'Darius Smith, he's already understands the culture here. He's been here. He actually produced. He did produce. Folks, without Za'Darius Smith, I don't know we win that Chicago game. Za'Darius Smith sacks Caleb Williams and the time runs out. So, I mean, he's not the greatest player in the world. He's not, the top-end player, but he makes a play when you need to make a play, okay? And so I would love to have Za'Darius Smith back. And I'm going to say he does come back, but he signs before training camp, so after the draft. That's what I'm going to go with. I believe that he will come back. He's just going to wait till after the draft. Some of these free agents, folks, they wait till after the draft so they can find out where they can get a better contract. Teams, maybe they didn't fill all the positions. So some of these guys, I'm sure they've gotten offers, and they're just like, we're just going to take our time, see if we can get better deal for us. Oh, I'm definitely a Lions fan, 100%. Let's see. I'm not 100%, and I don't want to hold me to it, but I'm not a college scout. I do know two guys, from what I've heard, is edge is deep this year. We may not have to move lots. Yeah, you're correct. Edge and defensive tackle is very good at the depth. Here's the thing, though. We know Brad Holmes. We can't look at it and be like, oh, just the depth's great, and they'll just pick the one who's available. They identify Lions players. So even if the player is a good pass rusher, if they think that that's not a culture fit, they're not going to draft him. So they'll have their targets. They're going to have their players that they want. They'll see how the draft plays out, right? We'll see how the draft plays out, but they're going to have their targets. And if they feel one of their targets, say it's an edge, and they feel that this guy is going to get taken before they get picked, they will trade up and get him. Or the other scenario, a player, for whatever reason, maybe offensive players go first and it pushes some defensive down, right? Last year, it was crazy. It was all offense, I think, till the 15th pick. That's not going to be the case this year, but we just don't know until the draft happens. You see all these mock drafts. You see the analysts. No one knows until the draft. It's just the way it is. If we all knew, hey, we'd be millionaires. Za'Darius was a money thing. I don't think he's coming back, especially if he don't draft unless he comes back to money to play rotation. I get why. It will be what other teams think, too. He's gauging his interest. Clearly, it's not a significant interest right now because he's not signed. So he's going to wait. There's a couple teams, I'm sure, that's interested in Za'Darius Smith. We don't want to know them right now. But he is probably going to wait till after the draft to see who can fill in that spot. Like, he wants to play, so that's how it's going to be. Lions chat. Do you think that the Lions trade up the first and get a defensive end? Oh, I want them to. I have not missed a first-round pick since I've been on YouTube. I have been 100%, 6 straight years, perfect with my first-round picks. I have not missed a first-round pick. I'm going to miss it this year. I want them. I so want them to trade up and get a pass rusher. I seen a mock draft. Somebody had Abdul Carter. Lions going up all the way to 4, giving up this year's first, next year's first. I think 4th round pick and another pick. I think it was 4 picks. And I don't think that will ever happen. I don't think they're going to go up there and do that. But if they want to trade up, I don't know, 8, 10 spots, they could do that. It's really difficult to gauge. You're talking trades are the hardest. A draft trade is, holy smokes. I mean, it's so difficult to predict where they would trade up. There's so many different variables with the draft. What are these character concerns about James Pierce? I can't find any details. James Pierce, I didn't see the exact details of character concerns or exactly what he did, but if there is character concerns, he's not going to be a Lion. That's for sure. And who's the other player that there was potential that I can't use the word, ard somebody? Now, we don't know if that's true. We don't know if it's real. Here's the thing with the draft. Bullshit is going to be taking place. All these general managers and all these scouts, they're going to make up BS about players. Was it Laramie Tunzel that had the weed mask on and he fell in the draft? Right when I think he did it. He took a picture. He's 16, and sometimes these GMs can be savage. These personnel can be savage and make crap up about players. Yes, it was Mike Green. That's right. Now, I'm not saying he did it or didn't. Like, I don't know, but I don't think the Lions will draft him either way. Right? So I try not to put speculation about players before the draft until you know the facts. Just because rumors are coming out or things are said, it doesn't mean it actually did occur or didn't occur. I just prefer the facts to come out because this is the time to lie right now. People are getting lied on. It's the way it is. Mike, I apologize said this, but do you think that the Lions to draft, obviously you want edge and select him at a 28. What are your trading up and who is the player? You know, depends what type of player they want to get. You know, I would like to get a pass rusher, right? I don't know where potentially could be in the draft. I would like it. Here's the thing. I just got a gut feeling they're going offensive line. Gut. I have a feeling that they're going to go offensive line. If they stay there, if they trade up, they can go many different people. Mikael Williams, Mike Green is what we just talked about with the issues there. Abdul Carter's way up there. Nick Scorton, I would like him. I think he would be there at 28. I think that's an option. If they're wanting to wait till the second round, Jack Sawyer, if they're wanting to go edge there. Dude, I tell you what, you want to make me go happy? You want to make me go happy? You double up on that pass rush, then I would be really, really happy there. You get like a Nick Scorton and a Jack Sawyer with pick 28 and 60, then you're going to make me smile. He's been accused. I'm not gonna say yay or nay because I don't know. I have no idea. Accusations. I tell you what, though, I'm sure general managers have the real truth, or at least a lot more facts than you would expect, because they do a lot of investigations on players, as we all know. So I don't want to speculate on anything like that because I do not know, and it's not my place to do it. Yeah, look, they like the bigger pass rushers, right? So if the 265s, the 280s, hell, they could do a tweener. We've already seen they like tweeners. So you're talking the 300s, like a Joshua Pascal. If you got questions, throw it in the comment section. We're just going to do some QA here, talking draft and free agency. A safety, too. The Lions do need to get a safety. I don't know if it necessarily needs to be in the draft. It could be free agents of number 3 right now, so that's an option for Detroit. If they're wanting to go in the draft, maybe round 5 in the draft, that could be something of that nature, or 6. And yeah, that's just what they could do here. Let's see. Bring back Smooth and draft a defensive end. Smooth? I don't know who's Smooth. I could be an idiot right now, or I'm misreading it. Just let me know. My choice of edge would be Landon Jackson in the 2nd and Kyle Kennard in 3rd. You know, if they're doing it that way, then they're probably going to go lineman with the first pick, man. I think that's probably what it will be. Taylor says, I am the best. I don't think. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy. We have Booker. Yep, I talked about that already. Those are the 2. It's going to be Booker and Gray Zabel. if they're going to go lineman, right, if they're going to go lineman, it would probably be one of those two. Birch, the defensive end. Look, man, I haven't studied I haven't looked at his tape specifically. Let me, if TA or Spirit of Detroit, I wonder if those two actually looked at him to give you a better breakdown of his play. Let's see here. GR rules, name a quarterback you're willing to draft in what round? I'm not wanting to draft a quarterback at this year's draft, so I'm going to put 0 in there. I don't see a need to draft a quarterback. I do not see a need. Hendon Hooker right now is our backup quarterback, and I understand you got Kyle Allen, whatever. But we got Hendon Hooker, so I don't want the Lions to draft a quarterback at all. I think it'd be kind of a waste of a draft pick at this point. The only way that we do that is if we were to draft a quarterback is if Hendon Hooker was traded, in my opinion. And then it would take a quarterback, I don't know, in round 5 or 6 or something. But I see no need for quarterback. No need for quarterback. There is going to be wide receivers that's going to be taken by the Detroit Lions too. So they're going to take a wide receiver. It'll probably be in round 3, round 4, in that area. When I look at who they're going to target, there's 2 wide receivers that I have on here that I think that the Lions would go at. One being Pat Bryant from Illinois. Look at him. We're talking 3rd or 4th round. Pat Bryant is on the Lions' radar. He's what they're trying to get in size. He is definitely a guy you want to keep an eye on, at least for the wide receiver position. And we do need one. I don't think the Lions are going to go wide receiver in the first 2 picks. I don't believe that. I know there's some folks that's a little bit worried about that. I don't think the Lions are going to do that at all. Torrey Horton is also the other wide receiver that I have the Detroit Lions going after. So those are the 2 wide receivers I have identified. So those 2, Torrey Horton and Pat Bryant, those are the wide receivers I have the Lions targeting. Gray Zabel and Booker. For linemen, I have them targeting. Edge, pretty much everybody, except for if they have some sort of drama to them, because we do need it at edge. Do you think that Khalif Raymond retires after this year? I don't know. I don't think so. I'd hope not. I like Raymond, but he has gotten injured the last couple of years, and I think he is slowly getting pushed out of this offense a little bit. And I guess that's not a bad thing, because you're accumulating more talent. But this could be his last year in Detroit. It could be, because the Lions are going to get a wide receiver. And they're going to get one, like I said, between round 3 and 4. That's where I've targeted. And those are the 2 wide receivers. I will put my money out one of those guys gets drafted by the Lions. And by the way, it will be in my mock draft. One of those guys is going to be in my mock draft. So just FYI right there. Bro, McCoy's in the mix for wide receiver also. I mean, he could. Look, those are the ones that I identified. Like, there's other ones that other people may say that the Lions go after. I look at who they had the visits, who they've spoken to, and what they're looking for. They're looking for a bigger guy, a 6'2", 6'3". So that makes sense. Maybe they go wide. Maybe they, they do get a wide receiver in round 7 or something that I don't see that. I see the mock draft with Lions with 3 straight wide receivers, and I about died laughing. That is not going to happen. And here's the reason why, folks, that they're probably going to get 1 wide receiver in this draft. Here is the reason why. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 1. Let's do it this way, okay? Jamison Williams, 2. Tim Patrick, 3. All right, you got Khalif Raymond, 4. You draft 1 wide receiver, that's already 5 right there. So I don't see them going more than 2. That's what I see them going right there. Ja'Cory Brooks from Alabama, Louisiana. Nice Dante Thornton, Jr. from Tennessee. In all fairness, I could see us drafting defensive line first. I want defensive line to be drafted. Everybody wants the Lions to draft a pass rusher or defensive lineman, and they do need an interior. And the reason why is Lee McNeil's not going to be ready. I've been telling that, look, he tore that bad boy at the end of the year. So I think he'll be ready halfway through the season. Yes, and I like Mahogany. We're going to get to that too in a second. Hashtag FGB, should we try to get more offensive line guys with Taylor Decker and Glasgow getting older? They are going to get offensive line guys. It's a need. They're going to get one. I think between rounds 1 and 2. That's where I'm going with it. That's my belief system. I'm not going to change one in my mock draft. Or we'll see, right? But I do think that they're going to get linemen. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell told you they're going to get linemen. They literally told you in their interview that they're looking to mix up the offensive line, potentially Giovanni Manu going to guard, Graham Glasgow going to the left side, Mahogany or they're looking at to switch things up because not getting Zeitler back threw a little bit of a wrench there. And you got Graham Glasgow, who's getting older. Like you said, Frank Ragnow and Taylor Decker, so they're going to get a lineman. He is nice, and the Lions are interested in Pat Bryant. Jana Higgins and Trey Harris would be solid in Detroit. Keep an eye. The Dern is the one who talked about Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I remember this for many, many years now, and I'll never forget it. During that draft, every single day, the Dern, probably for 5 months straight, talked about a guy named Amon-Ra St. Brown. And he says, Mike, you better talk about St. Brown because this guy is damn good. I think he was right. Mike, would you say the Lions are a run-first offense? Yes, with John Morton. I wouldn't say necessarily a run-first offense. There's going to be running more, I think, than Ben Johnson did. So I think the most difference parts would be like 3rd and 1, right? Instead of passing on 3rd and 1, I think you'll see a little bit more running than what we've seen last year. Or if they decide to go on a 4th down, they'll run it. There was times that we've seen the trick plays and the a 4th and pass. I think those get reduced a little bit. The trick plays will fall down a little bit, and simpler plays like running up the middle is what we'll see. Hashtag FGB. I read an article Stafford is going to the Vikings. Any idea if that's true? It's absolutely not true. Stafford is a Ram. When do you think the 2025 schedule comes out? I don't know. I don't know. Probably after the draft, maybe sometime. They try to keep things interesting in the NFL. You got the draft. Then after the draft, generally speaking, it's about 2 months of nothing. So maybe they'll throw that in there to get it juicy. And then you got training camp. Let's see. Look, he's one of those guys. I don't think the Lions going to draft. I don't think the Lions going to draft him just because of the aura that's around him right now. And it just doesn't feel like that's something that they're going to do. We'll see. I'm not going to be mad if Zabel or Booker are first, but safely is definitely, it's a safety. I definitely have some concern. They'll get a safe shift, God. They're going to get a safety. I don't know. Look, they could get a safety in free agency of the draft. I'm going to tell you which one they're going to go, but they're going to get a safety. Absolutely, they are. Even Brad Holmes have talked about that. It's just that we're so good right now at 2 safeties. It's not a pressing need to jump and get a number 3. And they're probably like, let's wait till the draft, see if there's a guy there because you can get a cheaper deal with a rookie than a veteran. So don't worry. They're going to replace Afutu Melifonwu. And I love Afutu Melifonwu. With that said, he was injured a lot. Hey, Mike, haven't been paying attention to this offseason. What are the top 3 personnel changes I should know about? Well, I don't know if you knew this, but Ben Johnson no longer here. He's the head coach of the Bears. Aaron Glenn, the head coach of the Jets, and we lost 1/2 of our staff. So there's a lot of turnover in the coaching. We lost Zeitler, Afutu Melifonwu, Kendall Vildor. I think, did he go to Tampa? I think he went to Tampa, so there's some players that we lost. We got Skip back. We got Derek Barnes back. And we picked up DJ Reed in free agency. He is. I think he is too, Raw Detroit. You're 100%. And make sure you subscribe to Raw Detroit. That's my buddy there. He will, if I don't know about a prospect, him or Spirit of Detroit podcast will know about the player. And make sure you check their channels out too, because they're doing a lot of hard work, guys, and they deserve a lot more views and credit that they're getting. Make sure you subscribe to their channels, guys. Check out their videos out. TA's dropping a prospect every single day. You'd be okay if the Lions draft another tight end in the mid to late rounds. I'm fine with it because I think that could be a battle in camp, right? You got Shane Zylstra. They did bring back. I think there's a little bit of issues there. So if they want to get a tight end in round 6 or 7, I'm not going to cry about that. Do I want to get one anything pretty much earlier than that? No, because I think we need edge, linemen. That they're a far bigger need. But if they want to get a tight end in round 6 or 7, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain pretty much about any player in the later rounds if they're developing. And they do need, a battle at that tight end position. So if they want to do that in later rounds, I'm not going to complain. This would be our 4th straight winning season. How important is that? It's very important. And we're going to have a winning season. I don't expect the Lions at all to go 15-2, but they're going to have a winning season. And we have a winning culture now, folks. Our expectations for this team has changed, and that's a good thing. And so now we're at an organization that wins consistently, and I think we'll have a winning season. It just depends how many wins you get. And even if we don't get to 15 wins, it's not – to get to 15 wins is freaking difficult. I don't see them doing that again. That they'll be a really good team, and they're one of the best teams in football. Let's see. Jalen Jones from VT's a stud. That going to the radar. UFA probably draft free agent. Use the wide receiver, now safety. Check him out. Will do. James Janella's got the Lions going 13-4. What do you guys got a prediction right now in the comments? What is your Lions score prediction? I'm looking at it right now, and I'm thinking 11 wins. It's a tough schedule. So, yeah, it's going to be tough. Still, hey, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And I want to face Philadelphia week 1. That's who I want to face week 1. And I pray we get to face the Eagles week 1 because, first, I think that'd be a great game. I think it'd be awesome. The Super Bowl champions versus the Lions. We did that with Kansas City. It's an NFC showdown, right, against the two powerhouses. I think that would be the way to go and get it out of the way quick. What do you prefer? Vildor comes back as corner number 1 or a fork in the eye? Man, I like it. I enjoy seeing. I'm not going to lie. But I'll take the fork in the eye. Look, Vildor is fine as the number 5 or 6, right? But it's a number 1. Hell no. 10 wins at least. We got 10, 12, 10, 14-1, 2-15, 12-5. So look, man, a lot of people's expectations has dropped. It has dropped. And that's not bad. It doesn't mean that, it's a bad thing. I think it's more reality. My man says 17-0 and Homer. Hey, man, wouldn't that be the greatest thing ever? Yeah, but last year's schedule was tough. But we got to understand, we lost 2 coordinators, half our coaches. I do believe we lost a little advantage on the offensive line with Zeitler being gone. There was a lot of injuries to the defense, so maybe that makes up for some things because it was absolutely ridiculous, the injuries that we got. It was stunning, so maybe that helps out a little bit. But I got to, having new coordinators, having new coaches, the offense, I think the defense will actually start out stronger than the offense to keep it a buck because Shep's already been in the building. It's probably going to be nearly the same type of defense, just different play calling. So I think that the defense will actually start up a little bit stronger, but it may take a little bit for this offense to click. And that's okay. We lost coordinators. There's nothing you could do about it. So that's why I went down. And plus, I'm looking at the fact that and this is right now. I got to wait. We'll come back to this after the draft when there's a bunch more talent in this team. But there's spots in this team that I have concerned about. Offensive line and pass rusher and interior defensive line. Just because of the injuries. And they address that in the draft. It'll definitely make me happy. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. God bless you. Do you think we're getting the Germany game so they can spotlight St. Brown? Cody Sluice. I was thinking the same thing, and I'm going to say yes. I think that's what they're going to do because they promoted St. Brown on Wide Receivers Netflix. He is now a name in the NFL. A lot of people know who St. Brown is. He's a player that a lot of people talk about in the NFL, not just for the Detroit Lions. It'd make all the sense of the world for the Lions to host the Germany game because St. Brown is Duolingo. He's fluent in German. His mom. That makes all the sense. I would absolutely think that would be a smart idea for the NFL, and they could promote it so well in Germany. And by the way, you do that, and you're going to see, I think you'd see more Lions fans in Germany. I think you'd see a lot of St. Brown fans, a lot of jerseys of St. Brown because it's representing them as well. What are your thoughts on Johnny Morton? Here's the thing. I think he'd be fine as OC. The offense is going to change. I don't think we're going to have as much trick plays. And so I like trick plays, but then I don't. Like that stupid wide receiver pass from Jamison Williams in the playoff. That was the dumb. There's some of these trick plays that you just say it's the dumbest thing in the world. And I am glad that that's gone. I got to keep it a buck. I am glad that's gone. I am ready to run on 3rd and 1. But Ben Johnson was a mastermind. So the offense is going to take hits in some parts, but it's going to be better in some parts, the short yardage. Will Sonic have a big year? Yep, he's going to have a big year. They're still going to split carries between Montgomery and Gibbs, but Gibbs is a weapon. He is a weapon. They're going to utilize Gibbs quite a bit. Sonic is no joke. No to the joke right there. Let's see. Knuckles have a big season. If Gibbs or Sonic and Knuckles stay healthy, they'll have good seasons. I have no doubt about that. If they're not healthy, that will screw it up. This is the NFL. You want that to make sense. That's a true statement. They still ain't fixed refereeing. If we beat the hell out of Ben Johnson twice, it's a winning season to me. I hope we sweep the Bears. I am salty at Ben Johnson. I call him Benedict Johnson, and that came from the Huge Show. I'm fine. It was just, to me, it was so quick right after the loss, and then you go to a rival, then you take a shot at Jared Goff. That kind of pissed me off, man. This guy, this arrogant prick, who thinks he is starting to remind me of Josh McDaniels of arrogancy. I don't like that stuff, man. I don't like arrogant people. That's why I love Dan Campbell. This dude is not even close to being arrogant. Dan Campbell, built like a freaking tank, looks like Bill Goldberg, and he is the most humble son of a gun you'll see. He's humble. He's a humble guy, and he's successful. That's a personality I like. I'm not going to lie. And I don't like arrogant pricks. And I would like to smack Benedict Johnson twice in the year. Hashtag FBen Johnson. Yeah, I agree. Do you have a Sonic soundbite? Yes, I do. Let me see. Here is my Sonic. Got the stuff going on right there. That is my Sonic going on. 100%. I'm hoping he is going to fail. I hope it's going to be Josh McDaniels where the offense looks good when, you're an OC, but it's different when you're a head coach. I'm hoping that's the case. I really am. I really am. I'm still salty about that, and I know maybe people think that, oh, you're being a punk for that. But I am salty. Am I the only one who thinks that we shouldn't waste a draft pick on a wide receiver? I would rather use it on a needed position. Lexi, wide receiver is a needed position. And here's why I'm going to tell you wide receiver is a needed position. You have two players that are currently on this team in the wide receiver room that are older and 1 year's left on the deal. Khalif Raymond and Tim Patrick. The Lions need to get a wide receiver maybe in round 3 or 4 to come in here, be part of this offense, and able to transition when those wide receivers leave us after the season, because that's probably what's going to happen. Tim Patrick's 31, okay? Khalif Raymond, as you can tell, is starting to slow down a little bit, get a little bit injured. So wide receiver's a need. And we got 7 draft picks, folks. You look at the depth there is no problem with wasting a draft pick on a wide receiver. For offense, you need wide receiver and offensive line. And then for defense, defensive line, all across the board, backup safety, right? They could do a backup linebacker or something like that, but 100%. Mike, I can tell you're from Holland because nobody ever says my Dutch last name right. I am from Holland. Yeah, I am from Holland. The Dutch. I live in Zeeland now, but it's right next to Holland. And actually, my nephew's uncle owns Dutch Village. That, if you ever been to Holland, all that big ass Dutch Village. Yeah, that's my nephew's uncle owns it, so I get to go there free all the time, take my kids. We're Dutch. Do you think that we're gonna run as much man press coverage? Is Shep coordinating the defense, or will that switch him? I think it's gonna be the same. I think it's gonna be the same. I could be wrong. Maybe he's got a new system going in there, but what I believe is probably gonna be close to the same scheme, just different play calling. Maybe it is different. That's just my gut telling me right now. Are you going to get 100K subs next season? Yes, I will. I'm only 15 away, man. 15,000 away. I average around 24,000 subs a year. So I'm only 15 away. I'll hit it by week 10. I'll have a plaque by week 10, and I'm excited for that. I've been doing this for 6 years. So it'll take 7 years for me to get a plaque on YouTube. 7 effing years. Austin, shoot, I live in Hudsonville, right around the bend from you. Hey, awesome, man. Yeah, I go through Hudsonville all the time, bro. I like Hudsonville. I was actually looking to buy a house in Hudsonville this past year. That's where I was looking for. I like Hudsonville. It's a nice area. Defense stay healthy. I think it will be much healthier than last year. Last year was an anomaly. It was crazy amount of injuries. But I can't tell you if the offense is going to stay healthy. See, that's the thing. And Rod Wood talked to the media. He says, the injuries are not going to happen. I can guarantee you that. It's not going to be like last year. I'm going to tell you that's bullshit. Why is that bullshit? Because we are actually not Nostradamus. We can't see the future. We don't know what's going to happen. Do I think it's going to be as bad as it was last year? No. But do I know this? No. The defense got savaged, but the offense stayed relatively healthy. What if it's the opposite? What if St. Brown goes down, Goff goes down, Panay goes down, Frank goes down? What happens, man? I mean, that's something that we did. We always talk about, well, the Lions had a ton of injuries last year, so that means we're going to be better this year. But, yeah, we had a ton of injuries on defense, but our offense was healthy. And I don't know, that's the odds of that being the case. It's unlikely, right? You're going to have injuries on offense. I don't think it's going to be that bad on defense, though. So if we do have injuries on offense, maybe the defense will hold those games down for us, right? We got better defense. Derek Barnes, he got knocked out early in the season, right? You had breaking arm, Anzalone, Hutchinson going down, week 5 for the year? It was just ridiculous. I don't think it'll get that bad, but we have to prep as it is that bad. That's the thing. We know it can happen because it happened to us. Number 1 seed, all damn players gone, by defense by the playoffs. We know it can happen, so let's prep as if it will. Let's expect the worst and hope for the best. Get pass rushers, because what if there is injuries? We need more pass rush. We need defensive line. So I'm hoping that's what they do. I expect that's what they're going to do. Expect the worst, hope for the best. I think the division will be much tougher. Yeah, it is going to be tougher. Folks, the Bears are a better football team now than they were last year. They built that offensive lineup, and they're probably going to take a lineman with their first pick, right? And I think they're a top 10 pick. And their defense isn't that bad, right? And so their offense is going to get better because Ben Johnson is a good coordinator. So I think they're a better football team. The Packers, I think they're the same. You know, Jordan Love, to me, it's not a guy I think that's going to take him over the top. I think they're about the same. And the Vikings, depending on J.J. McCarthy, if he comes out and is a good player, and they're going to be a great team as well. I mean, the Vikings they're a 15-win or 14-win team, 15-win team, something up there. We beat them. We had the tiebreaker. So the NFC North is going to be tough for sure. I think the Lions are still the best in the NFC North. I think they are. Will Davenport actually work out for the defense? Let's go with odds. Mine is no. I have zero hope for Marcus Davenport. Zero. If he comes out there and does one snap, that's more than I thought he would do. This guy's been an injury-prone player throughout his tenure. Until he proves me wrong, is on the field for 17 games straight, or even 15 or 14 or something of that nature. I don't have a lot of faith in Davenport. I don't. I don't. I just don't have faith in him. Everyone, if you want to know about draft prospects, subscribe to Raw Detroit. He breaks down the prospects. You want to know about that 100%? Check him out. He will get it done for you. 100%. Depth will be key to keep the injury bug from biting us again. Yep, got to have great depth. And we have really good depth. We did. And we do. We don't have the best depth at some positions, but we got pretty good depth all around. See, I've been on for nearly an hour right now. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. I got some things I got to do for the day. We will 100% have a video up tomorrow. I'll make one. I'm just make it during the day tomorrow or during the morning, so it's a complete, fresh video. I don't want to do a cut video anymore, cuts of just my streams. Did I get a super chat somewhere? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Yes, it's me, dropped a super chat. It just came up on my thing right now. So sorry I didn't see this. It just popped up. Yes, it's me, Matt. $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Let me get my thing up here. Man, sometimes it just doesn't pop up. Yeah, it's me with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you for the info, brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much, man. And for that super chat, God bless you so much. And keep doing your thing, man. Thank you for supporting. It means a lot to me. And we got Bryce has been a member for 12 months. Means a lot to me. It does. And I thank you. Hey, better late than it just didn't. Sometimes you got to see a cue that I have. If I could show you what the cue is, you'd understand. Sometimes so the messages that you see, I see that too, but I got another cue for the program and it didn't pop up. So definitely. And then it showed up right after on here at the end. I'm like, what the hell? It does that every once in a while. So, not that's a, I wouldn't even say that's a user error. That's a error on the wall.